Hey guys, Kyle Cordiana here. Gonna give you my FLW Costa recap for Lake Sam Rayburn. That was the first event for the Southwest Division. When we got here, I'm not here anymore, I'm in Florida, but when we got to Sam Rayburn, it was weather was changing drastically. The water temperature was 54 when we got there, and then we got just rained on like crazy. It got really cold. Temperature dropped down to like 48, 49 in the lake. And so the fish were just back and forth, couldn't figure out, they wanted to move up and spawn, but for the most part, all the big ones are still out deep. And so that cold front even held them up longer. But as practice went on, we started getting warmer days in the 70s, and I started seeing water temperatures even reach 60 by the end of the day in the backs of protected pockets. And so weren't really sure what the fish were going to be doing by the time we fished for them. Threw some curveballs. My fish weren't there on day one. I had an issue with my old Trex. There's a sensor in the pedal that tells you when you're pushing on it, and if that sensor starts to go out, it doesn't know you're pushing on it and it won't let you turn. So I got to where I couldn't turn left, I couldn't turn right, and even my spot lock capability left me. And so you'll see me stomping on my foot a bunch. And the thing, if I'd push it really, really hard and stomp on it, sometimes I get a response. Otherwise, I just had to reach down there and turn it with my hand. But anyway, Minn Kota's standing behind their product. They're gonna they put a brand new pedal on there, and they want the whole pedal back so they can see what went wrong, and so they can reinforce what went wrong and fix it. You know, I had one of the very first ones. I've ran that for over a year, and I love it. And there's no way I'd get a different trolling motor. So I still would recommend that trolling motor. Some of you guys have asked me about that. But anyway, the baits that I use work best for me at Sam Rayburn. Oddly enough, I love flipping and punching and throwing a swim jig. I couldn't get that bite going for nothing. I started catching them on a deep jerk bait, right? That doesn't make any sense, but that's what was working for me. I got it right here, and I got it stored in my bait sack. And I don't even know what color this is, but this is a 110 plus. It's a deep diver crankbait. So you see it's kind of got a purple back, got a little yellow line down the side. All my mega bass fanatics are going to know exactly what this is, but I don't know what color it is. All I know is it ran the right depth to get the fish to bite. So I'm throwing this on my Kistler KLX. This is the Blade Buzz and Chatterbait rod. It's a 7-foot medium heavy. It's got a really thin diameter graphite blank, and it's got a whole lot of tip and action to it. And I really like it for jerk bait when you need to let those fish pull real hard and not. Another alternative for this is one of the KLX feeling reels. That works really well really good as well. So I can't talk today, and I do this in one cut, so if I get it wrong, then you just have to watch it. But yeah, that's what I did most of my damage on. I was finding edges of a hydrilla that were, goodness, in 12 foot of water is about where it'd start growing, and sometimes it'd come all the way up to 4 foot under the surface. And I'd get on the edge and just trying to find those big females that had kind of moved up in the ditches, staged on the edge of the hydrilla. And I got lucky and got one of those bites on day one. Day two, I went back out and tried to start where I caught that big fish. Couldn't hardly get anything going, caught one decent one. And I could tell immediately something had changed. I couldn't figure it out. And unfortunately, it took me all day of running to places where I thought I had a bunch of fish found. I finally got in the very back of this one pocket, and I felt like I was too shallow. It didn't feel right, but I didn't know where my fish had went. And I see this great big and boil and wake and come out from this bush and just annihilate a bluegill or something in like this much water. And so I spin the boat around, I power pull down, and you'll see me, I catch a few fish, small fish, and I knew that wasn't the one, and I fished and fished and fished for that. I finally put on just a Texas rig swim bait. This is just a Texas rig white swim bait. I could see it swimming through the water, and I was watching that thing just paddle through the water, and I see this fish. I can't see the fish, but I see the wake. My bait disappears, my line pops slack, and there's a big boil all at the same time. And I don't remember what I said in the video, but I think I told my co-angler I got her. And I set the hook on her, and I don't get but a couple of good head shakes out of her. Her mouth swaying left to right. She had a big old bucket mouth on her. I don't know if she was 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. She was really big, and she would have got me a check. She lost. She won. I lost her. She came off. I laid on the deck of the boat for a little while crying. But anyway, that kind of tipped me off, and so I started to go run to areas that I knew had fish set up out in the ditches, and I only had like an hour left, and I started running the back of all these little pockets, and I was just getting bite after bite after bite after bite, and they weren't much help. weight-wise, but I knew it would just been a matter of time, and I could have found another big one in the back of one of those. One of those events where you like, give me a couple more hours, you know, and maybe I can do something. The other thing I caught a lot of my fish on was just a Texas rigged Senko. I had it Texas rigged. I had it pegged with an Opticast tungsten weight, like a 5/16, real light. Had it pegged. This was a 5/0 light wire, wide gap hook. And I'm just using just natural colored Senkos. This is a watermelon red, I think. I threw several different natural colors. I ate them all. Just present that bait real slow through the grass was how I got those to bite. That was the tactics that worked for me. This is my Helium 3 medium heavy. This is a 7/1 extra fast. All my reels are Ardent Apex Elites, either 6.5 to 1 or 7.3 to 1. The swim bait, it was a 7-foot KLX rod, 7-foot medium heavy KLX. So that's what worked for me. Missed a check by 1 pound 5 ounces. Really sucks to have a practice where I caught a lot of 2 3/4 pound fish and then couldn't catch any of them in the tournament and got stuck with a bunch of fish that hardly weighed 2 pounds. So I had 15-1 on day 1 with a 6-pounder. And then on day 2, I had 10 pounds, 11 ounces. And all I needed was a little over 12 pounds. No, I needed 12 pounds right on the dot. If I'd got 12 pounds right on the dot, I would have got a check. So anyhow, now I'm here in Florida, practicing for Florida. And I got the tour event that starts Thursday. So anyway, wish me luck.